and thank you so much for joining me today. Today we are doing the Leo TarotScope for October 2019. We are going to be using the Spirit Keepers Tarot, the Vitruvian edition by Mademoiselle Wynn. Just awesome cards, awesome cards. I love them. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started by clearing out any negative energy that may be existing. Okay, see what Spirit has for Leo. Any messages for Leo, Spirit? Any messages for Leo? Any guidance? Okay, Spirit, what do you have for Leo for October 2019? What's going on? Go ahead and give us. Okay, Leo. Okay, Spirit. Yes. One more time. Thank you. Okay. Now we will be looking for the significator card for Leo. And there she is. She wants to talk about the Benjamins. Personal economics, property, money matters, material resources, assets and liabilities. That's your focus for this month, Leo. All about the Benjamins, our personal money. So let's go ahead and see what Spirit is trying to tell us. And there we go. Okay. Our first card is the Journeyman. The Journeyman is the spirit of apprenticeship, of perfecting one's craft, of routine work that leads to mastery. This is also the spirit of prudence. When the Journeyman appears to you, you are being called to apply discipline, a strong work ethic, and perseverance to hone your skills in a particular trade. The Journeyman is the grind of dedicated work, practice, and careful methodical study of a specialized craft. Note the herbs set into a master's staff. This is prophetic of an adept who is currently an apprentice, but who will someday exceed the master. It has been foretold. You will become the warrior, or the erudite, or perhaps it is the healer. One of these three paths manifested. That is the prophecy of the Journeyman. Even magic and genius requires toil, determination, and hard work. Behind the Journeyman and into the dark woods, can you see the forest through the trees? When the Journeyman appears to you, look again at your surroundings. Can you discern the holistic pattern from the details? Try to understand the bigger picture. The Eight of Orbs expresses the perfecting of your craft and being methodical in the ways you hone your skills. You possess a natural talent already. Now you need to train yourself so that you can take that talent to heightened levels of productivity and success. In medieval trade, the Journeyman is the rank of a craftsman between new apprentice and master. You've already established a proficiency for your craft, but you have not peaked yet. Stay humble, modest, methodical, and continue to work hard. Then the day will come when you far exceed many masters. Do not rest on the promises made by destiny. Determine the future for yourself and labor in every way necessary to craft that outcome. Card number 2, the Empress. This is the unconscious feminine and the spirit who springs forth your productivity. Poetry, the arts, your creativity, and the prophecy of your path to realizing the Holy Grail are what this spirit brings. Push your creativity to its limits, and there you will realize your personal greatness. The Empress appears to those who are on the verge of producing a work of worthy admiration. The magic of the Empress transforms your hopes into reality. A divinity of universal love is present in your life path, and the Empress appearing to you is the affirmation you need for acknowledging that presence. The Empress is your connection to the primordial divinity of Earth. This is your ancestral mother calling, and in divination, Key 3 affirms an offering to you of abundance, fruition, and the material resources you need to thrive. Her crown symbolizes Musica Universalis, the harmony of the spheres. The constellations are a form of music, a harmonic of mathematics and the Holy Spirit. When Key 3 appears, you are being called to conduct the harmony of the spheres. The spirit of music, math, and the Holy Spirit will work through your two hands. In the foreground, a swan guards the Empress Mother's scepter, the swan being an emblem of Venus, symbolic of poetry, the arts, and creativity. The orb atop the scepter is reminiscent of the alchemical symbol for salt. Placed before the swan are raspberries, symbolic of fertility. The single knotted button on the Empress's mandarin collar is also reminiscent of a raspberry, a fruit that has been with us since prehistoric times. The raspberry symbolizes the heart of the Messiah. It flows with the red juice of compassion. Raspberries possess the spiritual power to ward evil. Irises hang from her ears. The iris symbolizes the balance of power and wisdom and thus symbolic of the divine mandated right to sovereignty. A dragonfly, a symbol of self-actualization, masks her true identity. She is an encoded revelation of the Holy Grail. The swan and scepter are fenced in by an ambulance of golden grain. She is the giver of plenitude, emanating of Ceres or Demeter. She can manifest as the Empress Mother of the West. Deep green waters in the distance are symbolic of how humankind evolved from algae blooming in the seas. In the background, behind her right shoulder, is the resting alchemical pelican. Only by blood, sacrifice, and resurrection comes the fruition of the great work. Gloria Mundi is the muse for poets, writers, artists, and musicians. The Empress also embodies the spirit of rhetoric. She wields the art of persuasion. This is the mother of thousands, who wears a crown inscribed with the 12 signs of the zodiac, a tribute to Aranya, and the seal of a lotus blossom with 3 orbs symbolizing the Holy Trinity and the 3 pure ones. Aranya is the daughter of Zeus, granddaughter to Uranus, and the divine feminine personification of the Supreme One. This is also the card of prophecy and soothsaying through the study of stars and celestial configurations. Card number 3, the Keeper. The Keeper has reconciled all that is the Keeper's worldly fate, and now seeks knowledge of the spirit realms and communion with those realms. This is the Fool, who has become practiced and learned in a spiritual path, and now engages in a more interactive relationship with the many names and many faces of the Holy Spirit. Another way to put it is, the Keeper is the one who masters control over the many states of consciousness and levels of awareness one is capable of. Through paneled doors, the Keeper readies to cross a threshold and meet the Annealer, who appears near translucent to the Keeper prior to crossing that threshold. The Annealer is an alchemal beneficent spirit. In alchemy, the process of annealing is to take metal or glass, heat it, and then allow it to cool methodically and gradually so that the process itself eradicates internal stresses in the material and thereby strengthens the metal or glass. The result is strength through flexibility, because the alchemized material becomes so malleable that it is less easily destroyed. Visible in the foreground after the threshold is the hand of one of the annealer's faithful attendants. Upon the hand is perched a raven. To some keepers, the raven will appear white. To others, the raven will appear black. To guard certain types of journeys, it is the white raven that will appear by your side. For others, it will be the black raven. The raven here is the Keeper's guardian spirit, protecting you through your transitions and journeys between the worlds. Card number 4, the Joined One. In external alchemy, the Joined One guides us to choose our allies, and also is the spirit leading us to the most fruitful alliances. The Joined One designates an outer accord, but also an inner accord. In internal alchemy, this spirit guides us to unite our anima, unconscious feminine, in the conscious masculine, and animus, unconscious masculine, in the conscious feminine. This is the spirit of 2 becoming 1, and an omen of perfected love, love in all of its divine forms. Abyssus abyssium invocat, sea calls to sea, or the depth of me calls out to the depths of you. One deep reservoir of yearning is filled with the love of another, and it is mutual. Do not neglect the relationships you cherish. Reach out across the aisle and offer amity. Act towards peace and accord. An alliance brings you the balance and strength you've been seeking. Love fills both chalices of the two ways. Card number 5, the Sharpshooter. Swift movement abounds you. This is the spirit of marksmanship. When the Eight of Scepters appears, it bears notice to pay attention to messages being directed at you coming from your world. For Spirit is presenting itself through the words of those speaking to you. Momentous words coming at you within the next 8 days are the spoken words of Spirit. The Eight of Scepters is the spirit of inbound tidings that bear your name. When the Sharpshooter appears in a spread, pay attention to what she is aiming and shooting at in the context of the spread's landscape. What she points at is what Spirit is directing you to pay attention to. The Sharpshooter might be appearing to you as a protege of Anat, an old Canaanite maiden goddess of war. She might also be a messenger from Artemis. Perhaps she is a priestess daughter of Minerva or Pallas Athena. The Sharpshooter in the Eight of Scepters is a spirit oft called upon to be an emissary into our world to deliver messages from a divine feminine embodying courage, wisdom, military strategy, war and battles, or a patron goddess of the arts. When the Sharpshooter appears to you, such a divine consciousness is calling to you. And our final card is the Chariot. An armored knight adorned with an 8-pointed star on the helmet, the seal of prophets, steers a canopied chariot pulled by 2 sphinxes, dark and light, representing the Urim and Thummim. One sphinx has eyes for seeing the light, the other has only an open mouth for speaking the truth. The hind leg of the sphinx who speaks is crushing its own tail, symbolizing the self-inflicted pain of speaking your truth. Crescents on their headdresses are reminiscent of divination moon blocks. This is the primordial spirit and personification of free will. The Chariot is a spirit that helps you create change. You have attained a certain mastery of knowledge, and now you must determine how you will use that knowledge to create change in the world around you. The spirit of the Chariot is here giving momentum to your knowledge and intuition so that the skills you have acquired can be used to drive you forward along your path. Key 7 appears to affirm that you have triumphed over your obstacles. The Charioteer reminds you that you are in control of yourself. When the Chariot card appears, you have arrived at a critical milestone and are in movement towards victory. Success will come to the one who refuses to stop fighting. You are capable of making the extraordinary happen if you take control of what you have power over and release control from what you do not. Let your faith be the chariot that drives you when you do not have the power to change your circumstances. Lux et Veritas, light and truth, a translation of the Urim and Thummim. In the journey towards the Godhead, free will must be steered by light and truth. The Sphinx to the left with eyes and no mouth can see the light, but cannot speak the truth. The Sphinx to the right with a mouth and no eyes cannot see the light, but can speak the truth. Its hind leg crushes its own tail, symbolizing the self-inflicted pain that sometimes comes from daring to speak one's truth. In ancient mythos, the chariot was associated with the sun, and therefore an emblem of solar deities such as Mithra, Apollo, or Sibyl. The chariot is also symbolic of spiritual elevation. In antiquity, the charioteer represented control over one's passions, desires, and therefore symbolized the exercise of logic and divine reason. The canopy of the mind is held up by the four pillars symbolic of Tetragrammaton, YHVH, in the Proto-Canaanite alphabet. A shield bearing the cardinal zodiac signs Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, indicated by the ram, crab, balancing scales, and goat respectively, conceals the knight's acquired treasures, the sacred relics. Hey Leos, man, you need to pay attention. Something is coming in fast. Keep your mind and your eyes open. You have been receiving messages from the spirit realm. Talk to your ancestors and look to them for guidance. They have been trying to get your attention. Clear your mind so that you may better hear what they are saying. This is a coming together of two entities to form one. It's not you over here doing your part and them over there doing their part. Come together, talk to them, build a relationship with them. Hell, Day of the Dead's coming up. What about the dumb supper? Set a place for them at your table and commune with them. Become one with them. Work together. Don't rely on prophecy alone, though, to get you what you need. You know that you have what it takes to succeed. You know that you will succeed, but you still have to do your part. Keep moving forward. You are almost there. You are being called to release your creativity to the world. We're talking about your personal finances. Is there something else that you could be doing to increase your prosperity? Do you have a craft? Do you have a passion? Do you have a skill? Is there a service that you can offer to the public to increase that income? Absolutely, yes, there is. You are on the verge of creating something so magnificent. You will receive the abundance that you deserve, no doubt. You are going through an amazing transformation. Once again, open your eyes, see the light, and speak your truth. Do not stress or worry over things you have no control of. Execute your free will and keep moving forward full speed ahead. For some of you, this may involve a move or even some travel. But let your creative juices keep flowing. Those little light bulbs going off, pay attention to those things. That's your ancestors talking to you. Hey, Lynna, why don't you do this? Hey, Susie, why don't you do that? Hey, Bob, check it out. You know you're really passionate about this. Put it to work. Increase that income. It's going to happen. Do your part. I feel like I need to throw this in there too. Today I was out with my daughter running around doing some errands, buying a bunch of shit, and I was bitching because I was stressing out about money, about all the shit I had to pay. It was like, Mom really stands for made of money, because kids always got their hand out and it's always like, well, shit, okay, here, fine, and then you start bitching about, well, I gotta pay this and I gotta pay that. And I stopped and I said, Tay, next time I start stressing about money, you need to remind me that I have access. No, hold on. Let me take back. Let me get back to you guys. You have access to an unlimited amount of money. So once again, don't stress over things you can't control. Just keep moving forward and don't worry about it. You've got this. You have access to an infinite amount of money. I hope that today's message has brought you some clarity and will help lead you and guide you throughout the month of October. If you would like a more personal and detailed reading, please go to my website at www.conjureknits.com. I offer phone readings, video readings, and chat readings. Just click on one of the links at the top of the page. And be sure to check out my shop while you're there. I hope you all have a very, very amazing October. Love you bunches!